Hi, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Cheryl Butler, and you're listening to the Mighty Mommy's Quick and Dirty Tips podcast, which will help make your life as a parent a little bit easier and a lot more fun. Welcome. Today's episode is number 521, 5 Ways to Keep Your Cool with Frustrating Kids. Because as parents, we all know that there are plenty of times our kids get under our skin and just simply annoy us. But the key is not snapping at them, but instead changing how we react so we don't overreact. I can't wait to get started talking about today's topic because I think I have some easy tips that are going to help you stay in control during those moments that you're getting your buttons pushed. No one said parenting was going to be easy, but somehow many of us never realized how true that would be. Kelly, a frazzled mom of a 5-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter, emailed me with this scenario. Most of my days start off with a struggle because one of my kids gets up at the crack of dawn and the other one won't get out of bed unless I practically pull her out. By the time the school bus comes, I've yelled a handful of times because they dawdle and they take forever to get dressed. And then at night, I'm super stressed after working at a job that I'm really not crazy about. And by the time the weekend comes, I'm tired, cranky, and I lose my patience at the drop of a hat. I know it isn't fair to my kids, but I'm not sure how to catch myself before I blow my stack each time. Help! How many of us can relate to Kelly's daily grind? I know I've had plenty of days like that, especially when my 8 kids were younger and so needy. I felt like a shepherd herding a bunch of cattle out the door each morning. And that hour right before dinner, it used to make me want to hide in my bedroom until morning. Don't worry, Kelly. All is not lost. Although our kids can bring us to a breaking point, they don't have to send us overboard. Mighty Mommy shares 5 ways to keep your temper in check, no matter how much your kids annoy you. 5 ways to keep your cool with kids. Learn your triggers and patterns. Give yourself permission to be quiet. Breathe. Don't be afraid to apologize, and reward yourself for good behavior. Here's a closer look at each one. 1. Learn your triggers and your patterns. One of the most valuable lessons that I've learned in my 25 years of parenting is that it may not be possible to change how a child is acting, but how I choose to respond to that behavior, that's in my control. I know that's easier said than done, especially when you're exhausted from a crappy day at work, and the last thing you want to do is argue with your kindergartner to stop using the kitchen island as the racetrack for his Matchbox cars while you scramble to throw something palatable together for dinner. The first step in keeping yourself calm and together is to anticipate what usually sets you off. Oftentimes there's a pattern of behavior that makes us churn and feel like nails on a chalkboard, as in the case of Kelly and her family's frustrating school mornings. Because Kelly knows that getting ready for school is one of the times her kids push her buttons, she can program her mindset to be prepared for their actions so that she doesn't get so agitated. I had a similar situation when my kids were younger. So one day, even before I got out of bed, I just gave myself a great pep talk. I reminded myself that mornings will be rough and that I shouldn't be surprised by them each day. And then I urged myself not to give in to frustration and carry on with our morning routine as matter-of-factly as I could. These pep talks became a daily habit for me, and I found that when I wired myself not to react emotionally, I tolerated the kids a heck of a lot better. In addition, if you recognize that the pattern of you losing your cool occurs every day around the same time, then you should reevaluate your school morning routine. Get organized the night before to save yourself and your kids that harried frenzy of a rushing to get ready. I found that making lunches and laying out school clothes the night before saves a lot of trouble the next day. And as an added bonus, when your kids don't get a reaction from you, they do eventually learn not to engage in that bad behavior. Now, next, give yourself permission to be quiet. With kids come all kinds of new experiences, unexpected surprises, laughters, tears, and noise. If you're a person who craves personal space and quiet, This could definitely be a contributing factor to why you're losing your temper with your children. Because we lead such fast-paced, nonstop lives, most parents continue to burn the candle at both ends until there's nothing left but a hot, melted mess. And that's when you find yourself yelling at your 8-year-old because he forgot to close the refrigerator for the 1,000th time. We may not have the luxury of slipping away for a few hours of peace during the week, but we can surely find a few stolen moments to simply sit quietly with our own thoughts and just be, can't we? Give yourself the gift of quiet on a regular basis. Simply tell your kids that you need 5 minutes alone and then tune them out as if they don't exist. These small snippets of time in your own chill zone will compensate for the crazy, annoying situations. And let your kids see you enjoying some alone time. You're going to be setting a great example of how important it is to stay grounded and peaceful, even in times of chaos. Next up, breathe. And speaking of taking a quick moment to decompress, the key to making those quiet moments count is breath. The American Institute of Stress recommends breathing exercises as one of the best stress reducers. So, while you're tuning out the chaos, try taking a few slow, deep breaths. Inhale on a count of 3, and then exhale on a count of 3. This will help calm you down and divert your attention from the challenging situation that you're faced with. So, the next time your kids squeeze the entire contents of your overpriced wrinkle cream into the dog's empty food bowl, you won't explode and say, or rather yell, something that you'll regret later. And breathing isn't just a great relaxation tool for adults, you know. It's also a wonderfully calming technique for your kids. In an article, Calming Breathing Exercise for Kids, you can learn about the benefits of belly breathing for children. Try them out at bedtime tonight. Now, my next tip is one that I think is really important, and that's don't be afraid to apologize. Even if you followed all of my advice and have succeeded in curbing your temper, still, you're only human, and from time to time, you're going to lose your patience and lash out at your kids. It happens, and throughout the course of your parenting life, it's certainly going to happen more than once. If you lose control and you treat your child poorly, then it's important to realize that as soon as the incident happens and make it right. This becomes a good teachable moment for how to apologize. When you apologize to your child, you're modeling how grown-up relationships work. An apology shows your child that we all make mistakes, but the important thing is to acknowledge you're wrong and make amends. In my episode, How to Apologize to Your Child, you can learn 4 ways to correct even your worst parenting fails. And finally, reward yourself. Don't get too down on yourself, and remember, it's a process. Give yourself regular pep talks as you learn to have more control of your emotions, and remind yourself that you're doing the best you can. Pat yourself on the back when you catch yourself staying in control and not overreacting. Catch yourself keeping it together 3 times in a row, and you can treat yourself to a fun reward. Go for a quiet breakfast at your favorite cafe, get a manicure, or have your hair blown out at the salon instead of doing it yourself. Or trade folding the laundry for a hot bath with a great book. Positive reinforcement isn't just for kids. Just recognizing that you're making every effort to not blow up at your child during those trying parenting moments, those help pave the way for a much more peaceful existence in your household. A win-win for everyone. What do you do when you've reached your breaking point? Can you please share your thoughts in the comment section at quickanddirtytips.com/mighty-mommy or post your ideas on the Mighty Mommy Facebook page. You can also email me at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com. Thanks so much to today's sponsors, Stylist and Panama City Beach, for supporting the Mighty Mommy podcast. These are 2 great experiences that can really add some definite relaxation to your life. And if you have friends and family that would enjoy listening as well, I would love it if you'd share the link to this podcast and refer them to the website, www.quickanddirtytips.com/mighty-mommy. Now, go ahead and keep your calm on, even when your kids are getting under your skin. You can do it. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, happy parenting.